welcome to a brand new episode of Talk of the Terraces Football Podcast. Hey, with me, James and Tom.
How you doing, mate?
All right, man, are you?
Yeah, I'm bloody super duper.
I'm bloody brilliant, mate.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I'm well happy because it's Easter soon.
Yes, it's like Friday today, isn't it?
Yes, well, yeah, Thursday to Friday, but yeah, got no work tomorrow. Can stuff away on Easter eggs for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm wondering whether to treat tonight as a Friday night or a Thursday night.
I'm treating it as a Friday night. I'm getting the drinks out tonight.
I think I'll agree with you that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming to a critical stage in my F1 career as well. So.
Oh. Yeah, you're not going to try and hit the barriers on pit entry.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, on pit entry. For the listeners that are not aware, I'm an F1 driver, virtually, of course, on my Xbox. But
not in real life.
Not in real life, no. So when I've had a few drinks, I like to drive on the on the F1.
I like to drive.
I will stress, underline, and bold that on a computer game.
Yeah.
Not on the streets of Crewe.
Yeah, when I've had a drink, I like to go around murdering people, running them over, and jumping off high skyscrapers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on Grand Theft Auto, not in real life. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I like to play for Liverpool.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this is that thing, isn't it, where they say that the kids who play these games, where you murder people, that turns kids into murderers.
I know it's hard, isn't it, on kids, because it's like if they go outside they're a nuisance and they're causing issues in the street and kicking the ball about and kicking the ball on people's grass and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. If
they sit in their house, the lonely weirdos who are not getting a proper education, not getting enough air in their lungs.
Exactly, yeah. But it's that thing as well, isn't it? It's like, well, I used to play FIFA and F1 games, and neither of them are my occupation. So gaming doesn't ultimately lead to what game you're playing.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's like total wipeout. I'm not playing. I used to play that when I was probably at 8 or 9 on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
I'm not flying through space in a spaceship.
Yeah.
Having a race.
Yeah. I think it's already predetermined whether you're going to kind of be any, a murderer or a footballer or an F1 driver.
Yeah.
Don't think the gaming makes that much difference.
No, exactly. I tried Worms and they were useless. They didn't do anything like they do on the game.
Yeah. I tried Lemmings, but that only happened once. Yeah.
Speaking of worms, we have a tradition here called worm charming, don't we?
We do.
Is it Williston?
I think Nantwich, Williston, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a unique thing for the area, isn't it? So,
yeah,
I don't. If any other listeners know of anyone else who does worm charming, I promise you, it's not dirty. It is dirty, but it's soil dirty, not pants around your ankles dirty.
Yeah, it's not that kind of worm charming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's that happens in the evening after a few beers, doesn't it? Yeah, that's very different.
That's the post party.
That's the after party, yeah. But yeah, it's basically lots of people just tapping on the ground, replicating rain, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's very strange local thing.
Yeah.
Not a lot to do around here.
No, yeah, worm charming and
cow tipping,
yeah, or moving wheelie bins at night.
Swapping people's numbers.
Or dragging their bin a couple of streets away. Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't do anything like that.
No, not at all.
No, it's these other idiots.
Yeah. When they were kids.
When they were
kids,
idiots. Other idiots.
Like bomb knocking.
Yeah, never do that.
No.
My
girlfriend said in Manchester it's called knock and run.
Knock and run. Ah.
Around here it was always bomb knocking.
Bomb knocking, yeah. Well, what did you used to call the game of tag?
Tick.
We used to call it tick and nick.
Yeah, tick and nick, and then it was shortened to tick for the cool kids.
Yeah, is that very localised?
Must be, yeah.
If people call it tag.
Listeners know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always tick and nick.
But
others it's like tag.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that's I used to. There was some kids where I used to live who used to say you fancy a game of Togger. Togger, meaning football.
Togger,
yeah, and I don't know how that's spelled or what it relates to, but they used to say Togger.
Did he have something in his mouth at the time? Trying to say soccer.
Yeah, maybe. What? Oh, right, you got football. Football. Yeah.
He's just been the dentist.
Yeah. Put a tooth out. Togger, yeah. Very strange.
Oh, anyway, we digress. This is a football podcast.
Yeah, and I suppose that was a loose link into football.
Exactly.
or Togger, as we're now going to call it.
Talk of the Togger.
Talk of the Togger, yeah.
Real name himself. We'll get loads of hits on that.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. Because we're already swamped with listeners, so that's really going to help us, yeah.
Exactly. But those who have listened to us, thank you very much. And those who have followed us on the Twitters, thank you for following us. And also liking any posts that we've done or taking part in the voting. It all helps. So, well done you. Yeah, well done, yeah, and thank you. We're slowly but surely getting there, I think. Yeah. In terms of preaching to the masses. The score predictions thing it was a massive success that I did.
Yeah. You won that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought the years of playing with myself were behind me. But obviously not.
Yeah. It's carried on into adulthood, yeah.
No one responded. Thanks for that, listeners.
Thanks for listening, but thanks for participating in our latest game.
I don't know if we'll try it again, but if we do, and you want to get involved, just respond and come up with score predictions. In the future, we might even have a prize. We're thinking that we might be able to get some prizes involved in the future. Yeah. At the very least, you will have a mention on this podcast, which is actually worth more than a prize.
Yeah, but the mention for this month is that Tom won. So well done, Tom.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank God, family.
My cat,
Lenny Henry. Everyone from the different strokes. Thanks. I'm honoured. Do I ever get a prize?
No, there's no prizes this week. No.
Just a mention.
You're just getting a mention, yeah.
Alright, cool. That's fine. That's perfect for me.
But thanks to everyone who has taken the time to listen to us. Or if you haven't got an hour, of kind of time, and you just want to see what we're about, we've posted a couple of best ofs, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yeah. Well worth a listen.
Yeah, they are actually. Yeah, the first one's 5 minutes, and the next one's just shy of 10 minutes long. But they're kind of our first 3 episodes and our next 3 episodes, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a gateway into the Talking Terraces podcast.
Yeah, just to get a bit of an understanding of what we're about, because as you can probably tell already, we don't just bang on about football for an hour.
Yeah, a little snippet to get you hooked.
Exactly, yeah, and if you don't like the best of them, there's something wrong with you. I think it's pretty good. It's better than all that other stuff out there.
Oh yeah, bloody rubbishly talk about embroidery.
Who wants to talk about stats and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think you'll find his goal to net ratio is actually in the peak in the ascendance. He actually ran 20,000 miles in the last 4 games.
No, we're not about that. We're not going to bore you to sleep and stuff. If you're into that kind of stuff, then please turn off.
Then go somewhere else.
Yeah, we're very high level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as you can see, we've not even talked about football yet. So
no, exactly, high level football.
High level football. So I think we should probably try and talk about some football.
Yeah, okay.
So I suppose best ad, obviously one of the little changes we're going to make to the podcast is not spend half an hour talking about Liverpool and Crewe Alexandra.
Yeah, because it's a bit marginalised. Like, most football fans aren't going to want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can imagine, maybe in the UK, let's say 10% of football fans are Liverpool fans, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Maybe.
Just to put a broad kind of, it's going to be a noticeable percentage.
Yeah.
And then Crewe Alex is probably kind of further down on that percentage.
Only slightly.
Only slightly, yeah. So obviously we realise we might be kind of our marketing strategy might not include kind of a majority of people.
Exactly. And if you want us to talk about your club, or even if you want to join the discussion, let us know.
Let us know. Give us a shout. We're always available.
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly, yeah, got nothing else better to do. But yeah, I suppose let's talk about football. And as I think we've always said, we'll probably concentrate mainly on the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then touch upon other kind of big news items around the various other leagues in England and maybe the top leagues in Europe. Yeah. But I think, we want to just kick off kind of looking at the Premiership, and in particular, perhaps considering that the title's probably done and dusted and gone, the really exciting bit, or the interesting bit, is the bottom of the table, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I suppose so. The title's probably a foregone conclusion now. City have done really well. So they're probably going to leap home with it. I can't see Man United have done well, but I can't see them mounting a last-ditch charge at them. And City would have to lose a fair number of games or have a Liverpool-style flop in order to give United a chance.
That's it. You're looking at City losing kind of 4 games.
Exactly. So the only exciting areas really are like the bottom, the fight for relegation, and possibly the fight for the Champions League. But the fight for relegation is always on the forefront of fans' minds as it comes to this point of the season, especially fans that are down there at the bottom.
Yeah.
So currently, as the crow flies, as we're speaking, the bottom 3 are rock bottom. Sheffield United. Above them in 19th is West Bromwich Albion, and then above them in 18th is Fulham. So the points difference on that one is Sheffield United. So let's talk about them first. So Sheffield United are on 14 points. Newcastle, who are just on the edge of the relegation zone, in 17th on 28 points. So you've got to think, mate, they're gone.
Oh yeah. Sheffield United are gone, and then like you said, they're on 14. West Brom are just ahead on 18. Mm-hmm. They're pretty much down and out as well, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sheffield United did win a game recently, but apart from that, it's all been losses. So it's a lost conclusion on that one. So West Brom and Sheffield are probably going to go down. There's 8 points difference between West Brom and Fulham, who were in the last relegation space. But the real nail biter is going to come between Newcastle and Fulham, who are only 2 points between them and between that drop zone. Yeah,
and as we know, as we spoke about a couple of episodes ago, last game of the season.
Yes.
Fulham Newcastle.
Oh, massive.
It's kind of been just teased as what an end to the season.
Yeah.
It could be.
It could be like we said about that one years ago. Was it West Ham and Sheffield United?
Oh, Wigan and Sheffield United, yeah.
Wigan, Sheffield United, that was it. And it's going to literally come down to the last game of the season.
Yeah. And obviously you feel kind of quite sadistic here, sitting here thinking, I hope they kind of lose and winning the same amount of games going into the final game of the season. Which is quite bad as an outsider to kind of think that way. But it'll be a perfect finish for any kind of non-Newcastle or Fulham fans.
Exactly, yeah. Newcastle do have a game in hand over Fulham. Fulham play 30 and Newcastle played 29. Brighton above Newcastle in 16th. They're 4 points ahead of them. They're still possibly in a lot of danger, but they've won the last 2 games.
Yeah, Brighton seem to be just kicking on, don't they, the last couple of games?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we perhaps always thought that they might... Well, I think it was you called that you thought Newcastle would slip.
Yes, I thought they would.
Which has turned out to be bang on.
I don't really want Newcastle to fall out of the Premier League because I think they're a Premier League team. They're once one team City, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the Newcastle fans are great. But if they did fall out of the league, maybe they might get rid of Mike Ashley, which is what the ultimate goal is at the moment.
Yeah, and it's going to be that thing, isn't it? They'll go down and they'll come straight back up.
Yeah, exactly.
As they've done a couple of times. Chumbawamba style, yeah, exactly, yeah. I suppose the thing that's surprising is if you go back, 3-4 months ago, Southampton, they were knocking on the door of European football, weren't they?
Exactly, yeah.
And
they were doing brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of peaked, didn't it, when they beat Liverpool?
Yes.
At home, didn't they? Yeah. And yeah, God, how have they ended up there?
I'm not too sure because they have got really decent players playing for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a managerial issue or something, maybe. But they've lost 4 games in the last 5. which is pretty Kieran Dyer.
Yeah.
It's not great for them. They could be in trouble if they carry on losing and other teams around them start winning. They're only 9 points away from the relegation zone. So,
and if they carry on this run of form, when they might lose 7-8 games.
Yeah, I maybe if the Southampton fans could enlighten us more at what's going on there, but like. Because I'm a Liverpool fan, I know we loaned him Millamino, and every time I see Southampton, he's scoring. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's getting one and the other team are getting three or what. But
yeah, I mean, looking at their last 5 games, I think that win was actually against Sheffield United.
Was it? Yeah.
So it's not as if it's an expected result, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's still very much up for grabs, isn't it, mate?
It is up for grabs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You obviously, I think 40 points is the magic total in the Premiership. So Southampton are only 2 or 3 wins away from kind of achieving that. Really.
Yeah. So, going back to the top end of the table, then the Champions League place is probably the next big battle that's going to be happening over the next few days. Not a lot's changed since we last time mentioned it. It's still the same teams in the running. 8th Everton going up to Leicester, who's in 3rd on 56 points. There's still not a great gulf. That's only 10 points between those two. There's not because then you're going from 3rd to 8th and all them teams in the middle. It's not a massive gulf. There's 8 games to go, or 9 games depending on your team, and there's still a lot can happen.
Yeah, and this is the thing, isn't it? Once again, if you go back, I think, to our December episode, in our December episode, we made the sweeping statement that Man City weren't going to challenge for the title this year.
Yeah, that was... in hindsight, that was a bit of a...
that was a mistake.
Yeah, a mistake, yeah.
Yeah, and...
prediction.
Yeah, and as we said at the start of the season, as we both said at the start of the season, and that we reviewed in January... We both thought that West Ham were going to get relegated. So I probably shows you how much the table could turn again towards the end of the season. Like you said, between Everton and Chelsea, what is the 5 points? And that's between 4th and 8th. Everton could still end up finishing 4th.
Well, exactly, yeah. And they've got the players to do it. They've got the manager to do it. They could really kick on, but they've had a run of bad games, haven't they? They've lost 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To be fair, I don't think it'll stretch as far as Arsenal.
No,
they're just too up and down with their form.
Yeah, they're too proper yo-yoing, and haven't they got other things to concentrate on as well?
Yeah.
The FA Cup, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could see Everton winning 8 out of 10, but I can't see Arsenal doing that.
No, I don't think so. No.
To be fair, I don't know if I think I could see Spurs doing that. To be fair.
Yeah, the yardstick for Arsenal, if they can kick on or not, will probably be the game on Saturday night against us, Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's away for us anyway, so you'd expect Arsenal to bring it on that one. So if they can't, then
yeah, I think the main assumption is obviously City win the league, United and Leicester would battle it out for a second spot, and then it is between 4 clubs maybe for that 4th spot. And I think we probably called it a month or 2 ago that we think Chelsea will now have that kind of momentum to keep that place.
Exactly. Do you think Champions League will have a toll on Chelsea and Liverpool though, considering they're still in it? City, I suppose.
What, in terms of being able to push for top 4 because they're still in the Champions League?
Yeah, in terms of they're going to have to at some point. They're really going to have to focus on one. It's very hard to do both, isn't it? Yeah, well, I'd have thought that Liverpool will probably gamble and go, we've got to go for Champions League glory. Yeah, I think so as well. I think they know they can't hold a substantial attack on the top 4, so their only route would be to win it. And the path they've got to the final is not that bad. It's not as bad as City's. So they might fancy the chances. Yeah, it's like Chelsea could try and maintain 4th and try and do well in the Champions League and end up finishing 5th and get knocked out in the semis. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's made a hell of a difference, though. Thomas Tuchel.
Tuchel, yeah. Well, yeah, and we always thought they'd kick on, with a new manager, a new world-class manager. Any club, a bit of change in personnel, change in how things are done.
They always seem to do, don't they? They always seem to have stop playing, get a new manager, have a brief spurt, and then fall back into the old rhythm again. Exactly,
yeah. And I think the only thing is that West Ham maybe just seem to be maybe just tailing off a bit now. I don't know.
Yeah, they've lost a game and drawn a game in the last two, haven't they? And they'd lost one before that as well. So they're doing really, really well. But as it's coming to the thick end of the season, with internationals weighing on them as well, they might see a bit of a slip there.
I think so, yeah. So that kind of takes care of the top of the table. I think the other thing we wanted to touch on, and it kind of relates to the bottom of the table, is obviously Chris Wilder at Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Obviously,
they've
parted company.
Yeah. Is it the first manager? No, not the first one this season, is it? Frank Lampard and...
Yeah, West Brom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he's maybe the third or fourth casualty this season.
Still a surprise, though.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of saying, once again, maybe a month, 2 months ago, that obviously Sheffield United will get relegated. But we thought that they would perhaps, give him the first 10 games of next season.
Yeah. You give them a chance to rebuild. I mean, they're going to get a parachute payment, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to get
a manager in place for that, don't they?
Of course, yeah. I think from talking to a couple of people who I know are Sheffield United fans, the kind of assumption is that the owners perhaps, not giving him the money, to buy the players that he wanted to buy, or perhaps loan, and kind of take all of the salary. So there is a sneaking suspicion amongst Sheffield United fans that the owner's going to keep the money, the Premiership money, and kind of run them on a shoestring basis, and that's the worry for Sheffield United fans.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think they'll be back up though.
I think so. And they're obviously there's a couple of managers in the mix, decent managers in the mix as well. I think that's a real shame. I thought Sheffield United would have done things differently, and I thought Chris Wilder would have stayed on.
Considering what he did last season.
Well, he's worked miracles there. From mid-table in League One to getting promotion to the Premiership and a top half finish within 3-4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one hell of an achievement.
Cutthroat game though, isn't it, mate? Because even Claudio Ranieri, him, Claudio, he took the he took Leicester into the Premiership and the Premiership title. Bad season.
Yeah, you thought that was a job for life for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, statue and everything. But
that was a real shame.
Gone.
Yeah.
Talking next season, some transfer murmurings. The main one is young Haaland.
Yes, the boy wonder
from Leeds.
From Leeds, yeah.
I hate Leeds. No, I don't hate Leeds. That's a private joke. So there's lots of murmurings about him coming to the Premiership. He's a very young and very brilliant talent.
Yeah. I was going to say, mate, he looks kind of odds on for City, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah. It depends how he wants to play it, because if he's chasing after the money and he wants the big bucks, then he'd be at no better place than City, to be honest. And getting rid of Aguero. They've announced Aguero's going, haven't they?
Yeah, well, that's
season.
Yeah, that's something I forgot that we should talk about, really. So obviously they'll probably look to replace Aguero with Haaland, and I'm sure I've read reports that he wants £600,000 a week, which is just mind blowing. I think it's probably only Ronaldo or maybe Messi who earn more than that. I think Ronaldo's close to $750,000, isn't he?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
But I mean, there's City, there's United, everything. Are Liverpool kind of in looking at him or not? Or
they probably will, but if they don't get Champions League football, they've got Bob Hope getting him. He's a proper talent. He's a really good player. He had a bit of an incident in the last Champions League game where he was, after he took a penalty, he screamed at the goalkeeper. I think, because he was trying to put him off or something.
Right.
Which was really weird. And El Roy, one of our followers, mentioned it, that he'd think about twice at screaming at some of the keepers in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he could be a really good asset for the Premier League to come in, because he's only young.
Yeah, I'd suppose though, could it be like Werner at Chelsea, who, kind of come here where, with all the records to his name.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of fallen off a cliff, hasn't he, at Chelsea?
Even internationally. Did you see the miss of the season?
Oh, yes.
Last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Champions... Well, sorry, not in the Champions League. In the World Cup qualifiers, Germany against Northern Macedonia, who I didn't even know existed. Germany, 4 times world champions, ended up losing to Northern Macedonia. It was the first time Germany had lost a World Cup qualifier since we stuffed them 5-1.
Oh, was it really?
Ago. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's I spoke. We're going to talk about the Euros, aren't we, in the next part? And I was surprised when I was looking at the rankings, world rankings. I was like, where are Germany? Because I only kind of follow world football when it's international football when it's the tournament.
Yeah, when it's coming up to it, at least.
Yeah. So to see where Germany have gone, in the space of a few years, it's really shocking.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening with them. I know their manager's leaving, isn't he? The one that looks like a beetle. Can't remember his name. Joachim Low.
Joachim Low.
Joachim Low, that's it. Yeah. I know he's leaving. There was talk about Klopp actually going there to take over the Germany job, but he's denied it. And someone with Klopp's energy would be bored. Words being an international manager.
Yeah, you kind of work once every 3 months, don't you?
Exactly. It needs to be someone like Gareth Southgate, who likes doing Pizza Hut adverts and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've got other sources of income.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of the Premiership, and obviously it's kind of been off the radar for the last week, hasn't it, with internationals?
Yeah.
And so is the Championship as well. Championship is littered with international players as well.
Yes.
One key thing, obviously, with the Championship is the race for promotion. It's a 2-horse race for the top 2 places.
Yeah. Norwich and Watford.
Yeah. I suppose then it's just a battle for the playoffs there then.
Yeah, because I think Norwich City and Watford have pretty much got it in the bag, haven't they? Given their recent form, 4 wins and a draw for Norwich, Watford 5 wins on the run. That's great for them. But then it's all to play for below them. You've got Swansea City, Brentford, Barnsley, and Reading.
Yeah,
and also Bournemouth and Cardiff could try and make a push on it. It's only 4 points away. Yeah,
and what's really strange is if you look at Swansea, Brentford, Barnsley, Reading. Apart from Barnsley, actually, they're all in a bit of a rubbish vein of form. Really, Swansea lost 2 on the bounce. Brentford drawn 2 on the bounce. But Barnsley lost the last one. Reading, they haven't won in 3.
Yeah.
God, there's a lot up for grabs there. It's one of those, and I always say it. There'll be one team now who's kind of 7-8 points outside the playoffs who will mount a massive kind of unbeaten run in 6-7 games.
Yeah. Possibly Middlesbrough or something.
Exactly, it'll be a Middlesbrough kind of Cardiff thing. They'll creep into the playoffs, and they'll be the form team going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine that Cardiff versus Swansea playoff final?
Yeah,
that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
I love playoff finals.
Oh God, I mean, I've been lucky enough to go to 2 at Wembley and win 2. But the nerves and the excitement. You can't beat it. It's probably better than winning promotion on the last day of the season.
Yeah, it is.
Because you just know when you're in the playoff final, it is everything.
Well, you get a cup as well, don't you?
You get a cup, and that's it. If you lose, you're out. But if you're kind of going for automatic promotion and you lose, well, at least you've got the playoffs to fall back on.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a massive game.
Yeah, it's great for teams like that because you can see how much it means to them, and also financially. I know it plays a massive part of football now, but we're talking millions upon millions. For getting into the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean they talk of it as it's the £100 million game, isn't it?
My goodness, yeah, that is a lot of money, isn't it?
You know, and that's just on TV revenue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Before you look at anything else.
So while we're talking about tables, I may as well rip this plaster off and talk about the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah. Well, yeah, done and dusted. Congratulations to Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. They are champions of Scotland again.
Yeah, first time in 9 or 10 years, is it? Something like that?
Exactly. Speaking as a Rangers fan, how do you feel, Gerard?
I thought you were going to say you were speaking as a Rangers fan. Then.
No, not me. No, it's and any of the listeners probably know that I'm in an absolute no man's land when it comes to Rangers because my favourite Scottish team is Celtic for reasons.
For religious and historical reasons. Yeah.
Historic reasons. But I love to see Gerrard do well, and I think he's such a great manager.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job there.
Yeah, and just when Rangers win, I'm happy now. I'm like, oh, well done, Gerrard, like that kind of thing. So it's proper catch-22. You can't win.
You can't win, no. But obviously, I'm kind of my second team is Rangers, but also for religious and historical reasons.
This isn't a podcast. This is like a peace program.
It is, isn't it? We've always said, mate, that we should be used as a kind of like a benchmark for healing those wounds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They could use us as a blueprint, couldn't they?
Yeah, we could have like our own memorial.
Couldn't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Just me and you in the pub.
Just me and you in the pub, exactly. I mean, we've talked about, haven't we, when we go out on our random nights out, to wear our Rangers and Celtic shirts.
Oh God, yeah.
And just
not in Glasgow though.
Not in Glasgow, no. Probably not in Glasgow. Anywhere in Ireland. Probably not in Liverpool either.
No. Manchester.
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Yeah. So yeah, it might work well in some other towns more than others. I think like you say, I think it's probably bigger for Gerrard than it is, or equally as big for Gerrard as it is for Rangers.
Yeah, because it's hard for a manager who's been such a good player to break through. I mean, how many have failed, like Roy Keane, Gary Neville? I'm not just mentioning United players. Lampard. To be fantastic footballers and then make that transition to manager is very hard.
It is, yeah. And I know Gary Neville obviously took that job at Valencia, didn't he? Which is a massive job in Spain. It didn't work out for him. But and you got to give these people a pat on the back for giving it a go.
Yeah, for trying and stuff. You'd at least learn Spanish before taking on a job like that. Yeah. His his Mancunian ways perhaps didn't, with these the Spaniards, yeah. Scored el golo.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of culture, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's probably not our best fit.
Yeah, but congratulations to Rangers. I see that. Yeah, congratulations. I see that Celtic. Roy Keane was the favourite when I was looking the other day.
Was he?
Yeah, it was Roy Keane, and then I think there's a couple of others have overtaken him now. But I know initially it was kind of Roy Keane had been tipped to go back to Celtic as manager. Yeah.
I thought it'd be interesting if Frank Lampard got it, because then you'd have there used to be a battle between him and Gerrard for the best England midfielder, wasn't it? So.
Exactly, yeah. I think Lampard's been eyed up as under-21 coach now, isn't he, for England?
Oh, has he? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think England under-21's got knocked out with... once again, international football's not my strong point until it's the tournament. I don't know whether
the Euro one.
Was it? Was it the tournament or qualification?
Qualification, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Which is really bad, considering that English youth football was kind of getting to the finals and winning stuff over the last few years.
Well, they're the only England team to have won something, aren't they? The youth team was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
recently,
I think.
Anyway.
Yeah, we had like the under-18s won something, and the under-19s won the equivalent of the World Cup, didn't they? I think.
Yeah,
in the space of a couple of years. Yeah.
One of our players, Jones, got sent off. He scored and then got sent off.
Right. Okay.
Because the other team was celebrating the Croatians and he had a go at him.
We wouldn't give him a kick.
Yeah.
kick one of them up the arse. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's
that's that. Yeah. So I suppose we'll that'll lead us into our next part where we want to talk about international football.
Yeah.
But yeah, something I've noticed recently in the news, and it's kind of it's made a comeback. I think we did speak about it in one of our previous episodes. Is some of the new sports been brought into the Olympics? Yeah, particularly in Paris. What's that? Paris 2024, I think it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I saw it in the news about breakdancing, which was the main kind of weird sport that's going to be brought into the Olympics. This news article was saying how Rwanda is kind of like the capital of breakdancing.
Really?
Yeah, or breaking. I think the kids call it. The cool kids call it breaking.
Right, yeah. Shorten it like
Yeah. So they're obviously getting very excited about the Olympics in breakdancing. Yeah, and I suppose it just got me wondering what other weird sports, or what would it be like if other weird sports were dropped into the Olympics?
Thanks, Sue. Yes, welcome back to the Charles de Gaulle Arena, the venue for so many great Olympic moments over the last couple of weeks. So now we are going to a new sport, which is the Bean Flicking Championship. And I am joined by one of the legends of this sport, Heinz Gutenaim. Hello, Heinz.
Guten Morgen. How are you?
I am very well. Some of you might not know, but Heinz was a 3-time world champion at bean flicking. Heinz, how did you get into bean flicking?
When I was at my home in Wiesbaden, we had some baked beans left on the plate, and I saw one that was teetering on the edge. So I just thought, there is the kitchen. I wonder if I can get it through the door. And I flicked it, and it absolutely flew. And the hund was like chasing after it, and it was most joyous. So I decided that this should really be an Olympic sport. So I had a look, and there was a baked bean flicking championship. It wasn't very popular in Germany, so to speak, but it was more popular in England, where baked beans are very much the staple diet.
And that's true, especially in Scotland as well, across the whole of Great Britain. Is anyone in your family done anything like baked bean flicking? Does it run in the blood?
There's been a lot of bean flickers in my village, but not in my immediate family. There's a lot of tomatoes, so we like to crush the tomatoes to make the bean juice. But the bean juice is not the most important aspect of bean flicking. The actual bean itself has to be stark, sorry, my German, strong, has to be consistent, and it has to be bean shaped.
That is fantastic, and it is such a great story. And you have been 3-time world champion. Do you regret retiring only a couple of years ago, because you'd be at the Olympics now?
I do regret it, because it becomes a time in an athlete's life when they think, I have one more chance left in me. But when I got my finger strain after the Cup Championships, the Bean Cup Championships in Dubai, I thought, I had to look around, and I could see the young Thai boy, and he was flicking like a good one. I could see the one from Austria, my friend Guta Schnitnaf, and he was flicking away. And I just thought, come on, Heinz, time is time. Let's leave it. But now, obviously, the championship is about to start, and I'm thinking, my finger, it might be good, but now it's best to be sitting here in a warm, comfortable studio with you guys, rather than being covered in bean juice.
That's very kind, Heinz. That's very kind.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are just about to witness the first flick of the championship, and
Good.
It's Spain's Enrico Frico. He is from.
Oh.
So, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the second part of Talk of the Terraces Football Podcast.
Easter special.
Easter special, yeah.
We had a Christmas special.
We did, yeah. We could do some more religious festival specials, couldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, yeah.
Yeah. Incidentally, how do you eat yours?
2 bites, bump.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bite it, mott it, and then eat the shell on the outside.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Everyone's got a different technique.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
A different favoured way of doing it.
What about cream eggs?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant. Yeah, we'll move swiftly on to international football, which I think is going to be the first time the podcast has touched on international football, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the time. It's on the forefront of football fans' minds because it's coming, and the weather's coming out, and it all ties in together, and lockdown's coming to an end, and I think it's going to be. Everyone's going to be really focusing on the internationals in the next few months or so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we had a brief glimpse of the World Cup hysteria, didn't we? When we went out for the quarter final, didn't we, against Sweden?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be more of that times 10, I'd imagine, because obviously it'll kind of coincide with people being allowed back in pubs, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a perfect storm, isn't it? Because pubs will be reopened. Hopefully the weather will be all right, and people seeing their mates again, and I think it's going to be a massive tournament, and also the final's going to be in England.
Yeah, is it when Wembley gets the final? Do they get both semi-finals as well?
I think they get in the first game of the tournament, both semi-finals and the final, but. Due to how Europe's going with the COVID and everything, there's been talks of them doing the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing in England?
Yeah, exactly. Because they've got the infrastructure, the transport, the hotels, and the COVID stuff.
Yeah, well, that was always the thing, wasn't it? About when we were bidding for the World Cup, it was like, well, we're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's even Britain's even listed as a country that if a country that's going to host it has a nuclear war before it starts, then we're one. I think us and Germany are the ones, and France can hold it tomorrow.
Exactly, yeah. And I suppose, obviously, there's kind of accusations of bribery going on, for some of these people who've won the World Cup. But it seems to be that they want to give it to countries who are then going to have to build the stadiums and the infrastructure. It's almost as a way of improving the network in the country, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, because they need to put the transport links in order to supply it, didn't they? I know they did a lot in Russia for the World Cup, didn't they? Yeah,
I mean, you'd award it to England, and we'd probably not do much.
Yeah.
I'll just wait 4 years and we're ready to go.
Yeah, HS2 would have to get done pretty quick.
Yeah, HS2 would go 5 times over budget and be delayed by 50 years, yeah. So you'd have loads of football fans from all over the world trying to cram on the local commuter trains that stop at 1 million stops.
Ticket Wayne.
Yeah, exactly. That's really going to go down a treat, isn't it? Yeah, a load of Brazilians thinking, "What on earth's gone there?" So we've got some international football. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the groups? Do we want to start with who we think's going to win it? Do we want to look at England's chances?
Yeah, probably England's chances first. Have you watched any of the internationals or the ones over the last few days? They're not. They're not the Euro ones. They're not the Euro ones, but the World Cup qualifiers. But they're a good benchmark for other teams. I didn't watch all of them. Mainly as a protest because they didn't pick Alexander Arnold for the squad.
Yeah.
And there was no other Liverpool players in it, but I did catch a bit of it. I don't know about their chances. They've got some really good players. Harry Kane up front, usual. Ward-Prowse, Calvert-Lewin coming in as well, but they look vulnerable. And even against Poland, who aren't they're a good team, but they're not the best. Especially without Lewandowski, who was injured.
Yeah.
I have to imagine if he was playing. England conceded 1, and then they just narrowly won it with a late goal.
Yeah.
You have to imagine if he was playing, it might have been a different story. And then you have to imagine if you're playing your likes of France, with Mbappe up front and players like that you're probably going to really struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what we're kind of ranked 4th in the world.
Yeah.
3rd in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Belgium, France, Brazil, then us.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, isn't it? Once you get to those big 2 teams, and we're closely followed by Portugal and Spain as well.
Yeah. You
can't afford to slip up, can you?
Not a chance, no. Italy are going on a really good unbeaten run as well. There's a lot of I think England, people wrote them off in the World Cup, and they did really, really well. So you can't write them off at all.
No, and I suppose that's it. We're going to go into this tournament again, but this time we're going to be kind of like everyone's going to be thinking, right, well, we can get to a final perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's going to be bigger expectations. We didn't expect to go so far last time, and we did.
Oh, we expected nothing. Yeah, we expected absolutely nothing.
So it's the pressure's back on them, I think, this time.
Yeah, just looking at England's group, obviously I think our first game is against Croatia, which is obviously goes back to that World Cup semi-final.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
and there was one of the few games I did watch as kind of a non-tournament game was when we played Croatia in the European League.
The Nations thing.
The Nations Cup, whatever it's called, yeah. And we played Croatia and beat them 3-2 at Wembley with a last-minute goal, I think.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic game, and I think perhaps healed some of the wounds a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit of a revenge one.
A bit of a revenge. Obviously, I'd rather have got to a World Cup final, but
yeah.
So obviously, Croatia is going to be a tough game. We've also got Czech Republic in England's group as well.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
Who aren't going to be any
Good
kind
team.
of pushover, yeah. But the big game is obviously England Scotland.
Oh yeah, can't wait for that. First time since Euro '96.
Yeah.
Tournament anyway.
Yeah, so it's the local derby, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. And that last one was an absolute classic.
Yeah.
Infamous by Paul Gascoigne.
Yeah, exactly, and it's one of those moments in your football memories that you kind of remember.
Oh God, yeah.
Massive, yeah. And kind of then the game after that, which was beating Holland 4-1 as well.
Yes, yeah.
Those kind of couple of games were just, like say, just etched on your memory.
Oh yeah, definitely. Stuart Pearce burying his goal, scoring a penalty.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's not easy at all for England.
No.
It's wow, it's going to be quite difficult. The assumption is the top 2 go through.
Yeah.
But it's obviously the thing as well that you'd want to go through top, because then you would play second place from another group, I think.
Yeah, Euros are always very hard because you're playing Europeans who you're used to playing. Sometimes playing teams from South America or wherever can give you a bit of an advantage because it's a very different style of football.
Exactly. Well,
Not
this
always,
is it. And you also get this thing, and it'll happen now, is that it's a cup final against England.
Yeah.
Especially when Scotland play us. In Scotland are seem to be a half decent team now.
Yeah.
I suppose just looking through the groups though, I think I'd say that we've probably got the second hardest group.
Yeah.
Just having a quick look through the other groups, Belgium are going to have it pretty easy, I think.
Yeah.
Wales have got Italy in their group, but you'd perhaps expect Wales and Italy to progress there.
Yeah. I think Wales would have a good chance, wouldn't they? They've got some really good players.
Of course, yeah, and they proved it. They got to the semis of the Euros last time.
Yeah.
They've definitely got the players there. With Ramsey and Bale, of course.
Definitely.
But I think the toughest group is the Group F: France, Germany, Hungary, Portugal.
Ooh, yes, that is a toughie. That one, isn't it? Hungary are doing well.
Hungary are kind of they're top 40, and obviously France and Portugal are kind of top 5 seeded team.
Yeah.
Now obviously I think as we were discussing just off air is what's happened to Germany.
Yes. Exactly.
Like I said, I don't really follow international football until you get to the tournament, but they're ranked 13th in the world.
Yeah. The old enemy. I've certainly fell far from the tree pretty much in going off recent form anyway. It's like like we said, lost last night to North Macedonia. That's a massive dent in their ego, pretty much. And anyone who didn't see it, will go and check it out online. Werner's miss was just comical. It was so bad. It could have easily levelled the game. Just completely screwed his shot up.
Yeah. It's I'd say that's probably Germany's lowest ranking in a long time.
Yeah, exactly. They're always up there.
Oh, always up there, yeah, and they always come good for tournaments as well. So I suppose there is the chance that Germany aren't going to be a pushover once it gets to the tournament.
No, exactly. You can't you can't write them off. It's like it could be the place where in Germany the expectation eases off them, because there must be massive expectation given how successful they are for them to win all the time.
Yeah.
There's probably a feeling there that it's eased off a bit, especially with the managers going to be leaving and everything as well. Yeah. So they could possibly got nothing to lose and have a really good run at it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and then they get carried away with the weight of the country behind them, kind of thing. Yeah, you know, Germany could kick on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be an interesting tournament. It's usually as well. We have to talk about interlink it with the Premier League and stuff. It's usually a bit of a cattle market, isn't it, for talent as well. Most of the teams usually end up in Premier League teams, or most of the players, usually end up in Premier League teams who are playing abroad sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, and you always get one or two players who just come to the forefront.
Yeah.
In these tournaments, and then everyone's scrambling for their signature.
Exactly. Have that kind of tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose then, who do we think could win it?
I think. Oh, let's make the official Talk of Terraces prediction for Tom.
Oh no.
Yeah, these are going to get kicked out first. I think Belgium.
Yeah.
I think Belgium are going to kick on and win. I think.
Yeah.
They do it. Especially the team they've got.
Exactly. Yeah. It's they need to do something. It's like that Spanish team. Of whatever it was 10, 15 years ago now. They were by far the best team in the world. And did they go European World Cup European?
Yeah,
did they
think
win
so. Yeah.
3 major tournaments in a row, I think, with that team.
And also, I don't think, as an outsider choice, I don't think you can rule out the Dutch.
No.
The Netherlands.
Exactly, yeah.
Especially if Van Dijk comes back.
He's going to be primed for coming back, isn't he?
Yeah.
As long as he can get his fitness, he's going to be fresh.
Yeah, precisely.
I suppose that's the thing about Haaland, isn't it? That is it Norway is his national team?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, even though he was born in England.
Even though he was born in Leeds,
it's Leeds.
Leeds, and I don't think Norway are in the championships.
I don't think so. No.
So he's going to be absolutely off to a flyer at the start of the season.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Rested.
Well rested. He's kind of, while all the other best players in the world are playing international football, for a month. He's going to be kind of sat at home twiddling his thumbs, with a Man City shirt or whoever it might be. But he's going to hit the ground absolutely flying.
Exactly, yeah. I think it was one of them tournaments that if he was in it, he'd probably have a really good tournament. But obviously Norway aren't in it.
Yeah.
He should have picked England.
he should have played for England. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of who's going to win it? I don't know.
Who's your prediction, mate?
Well, top 2 seeds are Belgium and France.
Yeah.
Followed by yours, then Portugal, then Spain. God, I fancy France to do it.
Yeah, I think they're a good contender, aren't they?
Yeah, now obviously I know that might sound a bit obvious. They're ranked second in the World Champions.
Yeah.
But I think they might have the edge over Belgium in terms of they know how to win.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I think they perhaps might have taken on that German kind of mentality now, where France have had quite a lot of success over the last 20 years, haven't they?
Yeah.
Also,
I think the big turning point was their own tournament, France '98, wasn't it? Ever since then.
Yeah, they just had the perfect kind of set of things come together, didn't they? Obviously, hosting the tournament and then just world-class players.
Yeah, and then Ronaldo having the shits on the final.
And then Ronaldo, absolutely, yeah. Just having an absolute shocker, yeah.
Yeah, old Ronaldo, not new Ronaldo.
Yeah, exactly.
Any kids listening?
Yeah. If everyone's going, what? Yeah, and obviously the French team, that foul just went, this is ours for the taking.
Yeah, I remember that game. Speaking of international events, actually, mate, we've got another update coming through from the Olympics.
Okay, so they're just about to begin with the first flick of the championship, and it will be Spain's Enrico Frico. Enrico is currently the European champion. He's been at this sport for about 5 years now. Heinz, what do you know about Enrico?
I know Enrico personally. He came to my farm in Uderstrapen. And I was very impressed at the way he used to flick. He is a formidable flicker. Enrico Frico is one of them people that is a rare beast. He's come from nowhere. He's come from very humble beginnings. And he used to flick beans on the mean streets of Bilbao, I believe. And yes, he has come all this way, and now he's the European champion, and I could not be prouder of him. Oh, he's just about to start.
Okay, so Heinz, do you want to talk us through the first flick?
Yeah. So Enrico is now studying. He's trying his aim. He's seeing his trajectory. He's not quite ready yet. He's having a couple of dummy flicks. Yeah, there's the first. And now the climax of now he has 5 seconds to flick. He's pulling back. Flick now! Flick! Ah, yes. Absolutely amazing. He flicked it and it went right up and dropped like a penny in the bean jar. Absolutely amazing.
And is that what you would call a textbook flick?
That is what we would say in Germany is ausgezeichnet. It's excellent. It's a textbook flick. He was up against it with the time, but then when he flicked it, amazing.
Yeah, that was quite something to watch, and I'm sure that viewers are hooked straight away at this championship. Yeah, well, that was the first flick, and as we can see, the judges have scored it quite highly. They've given it a 9.3. That 9.3 is out of 10. Is that correct, Heinz?
That's correct, yeah.
So that is a great start. Enrico's PB is 9.6, so he's still got a little way to go to reach that. Just as a quick question, Heinz, what was your PB?
My PB was always 9.9.
Wow.
Perfection is not always possible in these circumstances. There can be the wind, there can be other factors that could also hinder your chances of getting that perfect 10. And it always eluded me, and I always wanted it. But yes, 9.9 I was very pleased with.
That is excellent. Okay, so we normally have a break for a couple of minutes while they bring out the next lot of beans. But for the moment, we will cut back to Susan, who is going to catch up on the highlights of the synchronized sewing.
So, welcome back to the final part of the podcast.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. I'm sure that everyone's now up to date with the latest from the Olympics.
Yeah. Well educated.
Well educated, yeah. Yeah, so this is we've obviously talked a lot of football, which is good, and this is obviously the main point of the podcast. But as our regular listeners will know, this is the part where we kind of talk about anything but football.
Yes, exactly. Because, as we always say on the Terraces, it's not always just football talk.
No. So yeah, we kind of combine a couple of our favourite other things, and one of them is weird news.
Yeah.
Weird news, which is a weird hobby to have.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a sixth sense of humour. So.
We do, yeah, exactly, yeah, and
like people.
Yeah, like most people, and then we'll kind of touch on our classic album, and we kind of swap roles, and obviously I'll be talking about weird news, and Tom will be talking about one of his favourite albums of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think as we were kind of talking to each other yesterday, I told you that weird news was quite light on the ground this month. And it still is, a couple of okay headlines, stories. So I've got two stories. One's good, one's quite good, and then I've got a headline, which the story's really boring, but the headline drew me in.
Right.
Until I read the story, and went, "Oh, it's really boring." So I'll go with the two stories first.
Yeah.
And just to put this out there, obviously it's the 1st of April today, which is obviously April Fool's Day. These stories are before April Fool's, so we haven't been fooled into saying that the next James Bond is going to be a woman, or any of these kind of stories that run on April the 1st.
Past 12 o'clock anyway, so you're not allowed to do it after that.
Oh, of course, yeah. If you do it after 12 o'clock, you're the fool, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So
on the hill.
Yeah, so these aren't made up. These are they will be before April the 1st, so hopefully they're genuine.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the first weird story, which is from the Daily Star.
Always a good source.
Yeah, always a good source. It's always you can rely on the Daily Star for accurate stories. So the headline is: expert forced to deny rumour that Suez Canal incident was due to ancient pharaoh's curse.
Excellent.
Expert is forced to deny.
How did they force him? Gunpoint?
Yeah. The government have brought him in under armed guard and said, "Is this the curse? Tell me, is this the curse?
Is this the curse of the pharaoh?"
I think it is. Apparently, in Egypt, in Cairo, very soon they're going to be moving 22 of their most famous mummies. From one museum to a new national museum, I think, and they're going to parade them through Cairo on the way to this new museum, I think.
Right.
But obviously, a lot of people through social media, of course, have said that basically they've disturbed the curse.
Oh, right. Okay, so this could possibly, beware of the curse.
Beware of the curse. Yeah. Now, this is kind of not. I was going to say backed up then, like one of these idiots. But what these people are kind of resting their opinion or their views on is that there have been a number of tragedies in Egypt actually over the last week or so.
Right.
There's been a really kind of a massive train crash in Egypt over last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has happened in the last few weeks. I think there's been a couple of other events as well. I think a building's collapsed as well.
Oh, tell you what.
So, there's been a fire at a train station as well. I think a column under a bridge has collapsed as well. There's been all sorts of incidents which, of course, wouldn't have happened had they not started to move these mummies. A lot of people are saying that these incidents are because of the curse of the pharaohs.
Good God, yeah, it's always, I'm always wary of stuff like that. There used to be stories about people using old mummies as like firewood and stuff, and really bad things happening to them. So I'm always very, very wary about that. It's like disgusting practice, but and then curses happen to him and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm very superstitious when it comes on that one.
Yeah, well, I think I remember watching something where there were when they kind of opened up these tombs in the pyramids and various other places, there were a number of people who worked in those places who died, I think.
Yeah.
But what they've linked it to is kind of bacteria or kind of airborne material. That is obviously stuff which has been buried in these caves for centuries. So I think they've managed to link it to something scientific rather than something, kind of woo.
Yeah. I think it's like, the Tutankhamun, like Howard Carter, who's the famous one, wasn't he?
Yes.
Who died after opening the tomb, and the story is they had written, "Death will come on swift wings to whoever opens this tomb."
Yeah.
And he just suddenly died, but modern day, they've looked at it and he probably had malaria, which come from a mosquito, which was on wings and stuff. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always a logical explanation to these kind of things, or most of the time there is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this expert, he's a former antiquities minister for the Egyptian government,
Right.
He had to go on national TV and deny that there was nothing supernatural going on.
Oh my goodness me.
So that's one weird news headline where an expert has had to go into national news to deny that there's a curse in Egypt.
I like that, makes up my street. Bit of superstition, bit of Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah, Egyptology. Yeah. I don't know if you can think of any good puns off the top of your head.
No, not really for that one.
No.
Yeah, that's probably right. No, I can't think of any for that one.
No, there's no.
I don't think I'd want to either, because it might
Well,
come on.
Exactly. Yeah. If you say the secret words.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Scottish play, isn't it? Shakespeare.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Or what was that film where you couldn't say something in the mirror 3 times?
Oh, Candyman, was it?
It was Candyman. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
There's Beetlejuice as well. Yeah. So maybe it's Don't keep your puns to yourself, mate. Obviously you must have loads of them, but yeah, you keep them to yourself.
Oh yeah, I've got tons.
Yeah. So that's the first headline. The second headline is I think this is the better story, as it is probably true weird news. So the headline reads: passenger plane forced to make an emergency landing in Sudan after stowaway cat attacked pilot.
Oh dear, that's good.
Yeah, a flight leaving Sudan's capital of Khartoum was rapidly forced to land last week when a stowaway cat attacked the pilot. They were perhaps apparently an hour and a half into the 4-hour flight, and a cat has appeared out of nowhere and clawed at the pilot. The incident was so bad and they couldn't actually get hold of the cat. That they have to turn around and do an emergency landing.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and then the article goes on to touch about other kind of similar reports.
Yeah.
And there was a flight in 2019 from the Isle of Man where they discovered a cat in someone's hand luggage.
Right.
And then there was another story dating back to 2004 where a cat attacked the pilot on a flight between Brussels and Vienna. So it seems like quite a common occurrence that these cats are kind of boarding flights and attacking the pilots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that poor pilot, I bet he wasn't feline good after that.
Hey, here we go.
Hey, he's off.
No. Yeah, it must have been a clawful experience.
Oh, lovely.
But
Did you go to the hospital because of a precaution? Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. I suppose this is a lot better, a better subject for puns than Egypt and mummies.
Egypts and ships, yeah.
The news story here then says animals are naturally quite a risk at 36,000 feet. Yeah, you don't say. Especially snakes. They could pose quite a threat, couldn't they? Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it? That something like a creature can get on like that. I
Yeah.
mean, if Sudan, Africa. What if it was like a wildcat or something as well?
Yeah, something
Not
really
not
dangerous.
like a moggy or anything like that, but like a cheetah or something.
Yeah, just a lion manages to just walk on with the cargo. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Steve
gonna
McDonald the lion.
Steve McDonald kind of
All right.
yeah. That's my second story.
Love that. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, and then I've got a kind of a half story, which is just the headline. And I saw the headline and kind of did a double take, and then I realised what the story was actually about. And obviously, I think Metro have put this headline in there to draw people's attention.
Right.
And the headline simply reads: "Massive tit fight breaks out in Scottish Park." So obviously that conjures up kind of images in your head straight away of what that could mean.
Yeah, especially Scottish ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Was it? You know, some women had taken the tops off and had started fighting. like two people doing like a fun run, dressed up as a pair of breasts.
Yeah.
You know, got into a scrap. You know, it conjures up quite a few different images.
He was the breast fighter.
But yeah, quite sadly, it was just someone had witnessed quite a brutal fight between two blue tits.
Oh dear! At least there was two of them.
At least, yeah. A pair of tits, yeah.
Smacking against each other. Brilliant, that's great.
So, yeah, that's my weird news
Lovely.
For this
I love
month.
them, mate.
Yeah, so over to you, mate.
So this month it's my pick for the album of the month. Previously I picked bands that I really love, Nirvana, Beatles, that kind of thing, that are well known, but this month I'm going to go with something differently. I'm going to go with something that are bands, I've seen them live, but they're really not that well known, not in this country that much anyway. And the album is the band is called the Handsome Family. And the album is the Singing Bones. So have you heard of this band? I bet probably not.
No, I must admit this is the first one of our albums where I'm absolutely stumped on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the desired effect. Yeah. It was, the album itself was released. It's called Singing Bones. The album was released in 2003. The band themselves are classed kind of as alternative, possibly borderline grungy country or folk music.
Okay.
So it's something really kind of different. Now I'd never heard of this band or this album or my favourite song off it, which is Far From Any Road. But back 5 or 6 years ago, there was a really brilliant programme on Sky Atlantic called True Detective, and it had great actors in. If you haven't seen it, honestly, it's just the first series. The other series is rubbish, but yeah, it's got like Matthew McConaughey in, and some really good actors as well. Yeah, great stories, like detective kind of story, you know, in America in the Deep South and everything. Mm-hmm. So the title music for that was this song Far From Any Road, and it's such a really clever, really good, deep song. If you haven't heard it, just type in Far From Any Road, The Handsome Family. It's an absolutely fantastic song, and it got me hooked straight away. I was watching the show with my dad at the time, and we had to do Shazam. And I don't know if any of you, or if you do, mate, or any listeners, when you hear a good song, I'm like, my hands are trembling with trying to get my phone out and go onto the Shazam app. It listens to the song and then tells you what it is. And if you've got Apple Music, it'll bring it up automatically. Yeah. So, yeah, I did that. Listened to that song, absolutely loved it. Couldn't stop playing it, couldn't get it out of my head. And then found the album that was on, listened to the album, and it's so many beautiful, brilliant songs, lovely written, lovely musical accompaniment, kind of that kind of country style, but with alternative instruments. It's like a bit darker, the lyrics and everything. Yeah. Yes, there's like the first song, The Forgotten Lake, that's really nice. There's also one, Fallen Peaches, which is about the Civil War in America, soldiers and stuff on the battlefield. And it's like, we were discussing last week between lyrics and music. I'm more of a lyrics, you're more of a music, and I think this band have really got it right as a bit of a symphony. The band set up themselves, and I didn't realise this until I went to watch them at a place called The Leaf in Liverpool with my dad. Just a little venue upstairs, but it was quite packed, absolutely packed to the rafters, because most people like us had watched the show and wanted to see this band singing. Right. And it's a husband and wife team, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the husband sings, plays guitar, the wife plays varied instruments and stuff, and also does backing singing, and then they have like session drummer and bassist,
right, that
come in to do the tour and stuff. So if if you're looking for something weird or something good weird, then I'd definitely recommend this album to give it a listen to.
Yeah, not yeah. A lot of bands are weird, but
Yeah.
are rubbish.
Yeah, exactly. It's not someone like smacking a milk carton off a fridge for 2 hours or anything like that.
Yeah, the reason they've sold 3 albums is because it is too weird. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Are they from the US?
Yeah, they're from the US. They've been around for a long time. They were like come out of the grunge scene, so they've been active since 1993. But they're from Chicago, Illinois, in the north of America. The members of Brett Sparks and Rennie Sparks. So as soon as I heard that, I started thinking about men with moustache staring at the camera. Yeah. But yeah, on Wikipedia, if you lead in, you can lead in. They've had a lot of albums out. There's a lot of good songs on the other albums as well, but that one's pretty much the pinnacle. And because it ties in so well with the TV show True Detective, it's well worth a watch.
Go on, mate. Sorry.
Sorry, go on, mate.
No,
so I'd recommend.
you go. Go. No, you go. Yeah,
no, you
go.
put the phone down.
No, you put that. Go on, you go, mate.
Yeah, I'd recommend watching True Detective the show, and then if you like the song also, then give him a listen.
Right, is this album kind of like one of their first ones, or is it kind of more towards the more recent?
No, it's 2003, so they've been going for 10 years when it came out. Yeah, the earlier albums are a bit weird, but this one's really kind of a nice thing. It's not thrash metal or anything like that. If you're working or you're driving along in the car and you don't want your head to pop, and you just want to listen to something chilled in the background, I'd say this was an absolute perfect album to listen to.
Yeah, was it kind of a slow build to this album? Is this album kind of by far their biggest or most successful? Or
I'd say so, yeah. And given it was used on the title song of this major show that's won all these awards and everything in America in 2014, I think it's really stuck it to the forefront.
Yeah, I mean,
as their best album.
I'm always kind of really, really interested in where bands peak and how,
Yeah.
I suppose a lot of bands that from the mid '90s. In particular, they all seem to do their best albums like in their first 3 albums.
Yeah.
All these bands, they kind of peaked right at the start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you do have these bands that do kind of go 5 albums, kind of like not really doing anything, and then all of a sudden just come out of nowhere.
Exactly. I think some can't find the style straight away, and then they'll chop and change things a bit. Maybe change the musicians, maybe change the style, or rather than just doing the same thing over and over again, and to actually evolve.
Yeah.
And I think around 2003, and the recent songs that I've heard of theirs as well, because they played a lot of newer songs at the gig. But at the gig I went to see, they played most songs off this album, so that'll probably tell you that this is their pinnacle album, pretty much.
Yeah, you can always tell kind of where a band, has stuck its flag in the ground, kind of thing, by what's in the set list, can't you?
From looking at it, this was their 7th album. This was.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, you do go to these. I remember seeing The Cure at Leeds, and I'd say 3/4 of the set was album tracks and B-sides.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah, it's like the AC/DC tribute acts we used to see, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just. I don't care about all these things, but most bands realise they've got to do a best of set.
Yes, exactly. And then includes the new ones in with it, and intermingle it.
Exactly. You got to split up, haven't you? A couple of songs for the real fans, a few songs that are off the new album, and then the rest is best of that everybody knows.
Precisely. Yeah.
Oh well, that is a really interesting pick, that, mate, because I'm not aware of it, and I'm trying to rapidly think of similar situations off the top of my head. Where you watch something on the telly or you hear a song on an advert. And
yes, it's usually adverts as well. They'll come up with good songs and stuff. Yeah,
and it kind of like leads you down a rabbit hole then into discovering more about that band.
Yeah, I remember being in a pub in Liverpool with my dad. It's called the Peaky Blinders Bar or something like that, and they had music playing in the background, and it was kind of new songs, relatively new songs like Careless Whisper, like modern hip hop songs and stuff, but done in a 1940s style. It was really weird. So I had to. I was the same. I had to Shazam that and listen to it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really strange, but really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was called something like songs that your granddad would like, or something like that. Yeah.
Right. I get. Yeah. It's it's a really neat way of discovering new music, especially with gigs not happening as well.
Yeah, exactly,
and I'm guessing kind of musical output's quite down at the minute as well. You know, not being able to get into studios.
So it's strange like that. First Shazam caused us to be in Liverpool and seeing them live. So it's always if you do hear things, it's always worth having that app on your phone and just giving it a quick Shazam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't used that for a while actually.
Yeah.
It's probably a sign of the times, though. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, kind of, there's nothing.
Decent.
Yeah, or there's none of that opportunity to use it at the minute.
Yeah.
It's all repeats, or you're not kind of getting out
Precisely,
as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's brilliant. That is, mate. I love that.
Cool.
That'll be my first thing I'll do after we get off the podcast. I'll give it a listen.
Yeah, Far From Any Road. That's your gateway one.
Far From Any Road. Yeah, I shall give it a listen straight away, mate.
Sweet, that sounds good then, mate.
Cool. So I think that's the end of the podcast for this month.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as always, and thank you to everyone who's listened and who is going to listen and who is listening as we speak now. And hopefully still listening. Thanks for those people who've clung on. And stuck with us. We really appreciate it. And we hope to speak to you soon, which we will do in probably a month's time.
Again, if anyone wants to leave us any comments on the Twitter or anything like that, want to talk, let us know. But apart from that, have a safe Easter and hope you all enjoy your football. And enjoy the loosening of lockdown as well. Exactly. Nice and loose.
Yeah, nice and loose. Have a nice and loose time over Easter.
Cool.
Right, I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Speak to you soon, mate.
See you everyone.